Before the Islamic Republic, before Khomeini's revolution, Iran was ruled by kings, modernizers in suits, crowned by the West, and overthrown by their own people. This is the dramatic story of the Pahlavi dynasty, from glory to downfall, and why, today, their name has resurfaced amid Iran's crisis with Israel. Let's begin. The Pahlavi dynasty was born not in royal blood, but on the battlefield. Reza Khan, a military officer of humble Mazandarani origins, rose through the ranks of Iran's Cossack Brigade. In 1921, he led a coup d'etat with the help of British officers who feared Soviet influence in Iran. By 1925, the Kaya dynasty was overthrown, and Reza Khan became Reza Shah Pahlavi, launching a new monarchy with ambitions of modernization and secular nationalism. Inspired by Kemal Ataturk of Turkey, Reza Shah initiated sweeping reforms such as Western-style education and dress codes, banning the veil for women in public, establishing a national bank, railway system, and strong central state, limiting clerical influence in courts and schools. But his rule was also autocratic. Political dissent was crushed, and free press muzzled. Still, many saw him as the father of modern Iran. But World War II changed everything. In 1941, the Allies invaded Iran, fearing Reza Shah's closeness to Nazi Germany. British and Soviet forces forced him to abdicate in favor of his son, the 22-year-old Mohammad Reza Pahlavi. The young Shah inherited a fragile throne, a divided country, and growing nationalist sentiment. During the 1940, Iranian oil, controlled by the British-owned Anglo-Iranian Oil Company, AIOC, became a source of deep resentment. This led to a turning point. In 1951, the Iranian parliament elected Mohammad Mossadegh as prime minister. A fierce nationalist, he nationalized Iran's oil industry, directly challenging British control. The British were outraged. So were the Americans, fearing Iran would tilt toward the Soviets. In 1953, the CIA orchestrated Operation Ajax, a coup that removed Mossadegh and reinstalled the Shah with full control. This marked the beginning of absolute monarchy under the Pahlavis, and also US dominance in Iranian affairs. The Shah was no longer just a king. He was America's man in Tehran. In the 1960s, Mohammad Reza Shah launched the White Revolution, a series of top-down reforms meant to modernize Iran such as land redistribution to weaken feudal landlords, women's suffrage, literacy and health corps for rural areas, industrialization and military buildup. Iran saw economic growth, urbanization, and rising middle classes. Western culture spread rapidly, from fashion to film. But beneath the surface, clerics were alienated by secularism. Rural migrants flooded into cities without jobs. Political parties were banned, and SAVAK, the Shah's secret police, silenced dissent with torture and fear. Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini, then a relatively obscure cleric, condemned the Shah's westernization and was exiled in 1964. The seeds of revolution had been planted. By the late 1970s, Iran was a pressure cooker. Rising inflation, inequality, authoritarian rule, and growing religious opposition culminated in mass protests in 1978. Despite his powerful military, the Shah hesitated to use full force. By January 1979, the once mighty monarch fled Iran, never to return. On February 1, 1979, Ayatollah Khomeini returned from exile to a hero's welcome. Within weeks, the Pahlavi monarchy was dismantled. Iran became an Islamic Republic under clerical rule. Mohammad Reza Shah died in exile in Egypt in 1980, broken and rejected by both East and West. The Pahlavis left behind a complex legacy. On one hand, they modernized Iran, built universities, infrastructure, and gave women rights. On the other, they ruled with autocracy, enabled inequality, and disconnected from their people. Today in Iran, the Shah is officially vilified. But many Iranians, especially the youth, view his era with nostalgia for its relative freedoms, prosperity, and global prestige. In recent years, the exiled crown prince, Reza Pahlavi, the Shah's son, has re-emerged as a figure in exile. Reza Pahlavi was just 18 when the revolution forced his family into exile. Educated in the West, he has spent decades advocating for secular democracy in Iran, but has not called for the return of monarchy. For years, he remained a fringe figure, respected by monarchists, ignored by others. But the 2022-2023 Mahsa Amini protests, triggered by the morality police's brutality, brought his name back into the headlines. Videos of Iranians chanting, "Reza Shah, Ruhat Shad, Reza Shah, rest in peace," circulated widely. In the wake of the 2025 Israel-Iran conflict, where tensions escalated after Israel's preemptive strike on Iranian nuclear sites, Reza Pahlavi gained more international attention. According to leaked diplomatic reports, US President Donald Trump and some Israeli figures considered Reza Pahlavi as a possible transitional leader in the event of regime collapse in Tehran. He visited Israel in 2023, met with officials, and expressed solidarity with victims of anti-Semitism and tyranny, which was a symbolic gesture on his part given his family's historical ties with Israel before 1979. He now promotes a referendum for Iranians to choose their future system, monarchy, republic, or otherwise, calling for unity among opposition groups. Still, his chances inside Iran remain uncertain. The regime paints him as a Western puppet. Many Iranians demand change, but not necessarily a return to monarchy. The Pahlavi dynasty rose with the promise of modernity, fell under the weight of its own excesses, and now lingers in memory, part cautionary tale, part symbol of lost pride. And as Iran faces rising dissent, economic turmoil, and open conflict with Israel, the question emerges again. Can the son of the last Shah be the bridge between Iran's past and its future? Or is the story of the Pahlavis just that, history? Do not forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Should Reza Pahlavi return to Iran?